Mrs. Schwarzler, our next door neighbor, used to say, God never gives you more than you can handle. What? I'm not so sure about that. That's next on this episode of the Gratitude Journal podcast.
This is the Gratitude Journal podcast.
Greetings, salutations, welcome from the basement lair here in Northeast Ohio, beautiful Northeast Ohio, although the leaves are starting to turn, some of them are starting to fall. They crunched underneath our feet during our walk the other night. The moles are out in the yard, so they're doing their damage, and I had to wear a hoodie on my walk this morning. I'm wearing a hoodie right now as I'm recording this. Hello there. Matthew on board for this edition of the Gratitude Journal podcast, the podcast that has been dormant for a while and has been really for most of the year. I'll get to maybe why that is. I'm not offering up an excuse because I'm not sort of an excuse person. I like to be comfortable admitting to my faults and my shortcomings. And definitely shortcomings as far as podcast episodes have been a regular offering on the buffet lately. But, a part of me doesn't even want to go there because, we've just had a number of things to deal with, and you can call them excuses if you like, whatever. Anyway, it's good to be back in front of the microphone. I have been in front of a microphone, for work. All the time. In fact, I fill in occasionally on a radio station here in Northeast Ohio called the Summit FM. And if you'd ever want to listen to it, you can. You can find us on all the platforms, and you can listen online on the app. And generally, my time to be on the air on the Summit FM is Sundays, noon to 3 Eastern. For those of you who are listening overseas or on some other planet outside of Earth that we don't really know about, and you have technology superior to ours. I have been filling in for the program director of the radio station a good amount this past couple of weeks. So I've actually been in front of a microphone pretty much. So hopefully things are going pretty well in your world. I know it's been a while since we chatted. Some things remain the same, aka my almost chronic extreme lightheadedness, and we've had some new challenges come on board, which I will get to. I've already managed to do quite a few things this morning. I've been trying to wake up early, and I've been doing that, I guess, for a variety of reasons. And really, the ability to try to get up earlier and start my day is something that I'm grateful for. Grateful that I have the time to invest in doing, a couple of things that I feel like are best for me. And in our journey, and now a new dollop of challenge added to that journey, I feel like all of this advice that people have been trying to give to me, like, what are you doing for you? Because as a caregiver, and I've come to terms with the fact that that's my role, that's what I am, and, it may not rival other stories from other caregivers, and it may not, I'm not saying it like a better or worse, it's just we're all on different tracks because I certainly have good friends who are caregivers, and, they're faced with just varied and, a myriad of challenges, let's say, as am I. And so I have been very quick to dismiss, with a wave of the hand or a shrug of the shoulder when someone mentions, what are you doing for you? And it just seemed kind of trite to me. And I realized on my drive down to Kentucky last weekend to see my friends Ron and Gary that I really have been erroneously shrugging that off. I guess what I mean by that is this is not really something that I should be doing. And so in my attempt to give myself more time and in my attempt to give myself more space or more care, I guess, I've been trying to give myself more of a period of the day that is just for me before work starts, before the caregiving starts, and, before my mind and body jump into those two worlds. And those two worlds can be radically, different. And I have to find my space in both of these worlds. And so that I'm not giving time to any of those worlds, I've been trying to wake up early. And it's been, moderately successful. I can't say that I've accomplished everything that I need to do during that time, because one of my primary reasons for trying to get my butt out of bed earlier was to do some writing. And I find out that most of the writing I've done so far has really been more for work, because I can't sometimes really get everything done that I need to do for work in the allotted time. And that's on me. I need to be better at that. But I am grateful to have that little extra space in the morning. I wish I felt better, though, because I really don't. And I think the last time we spoke, I've been dealing with this almost chronic sort of lightheadedness. I've had a cardiac procedure done, and the cardiac procedure called an ablation was something that was supposed to sort of cure these premature ventricular contractions that I've been experiencing. I don't feel them as some people do. But what I do feel is this kind of lightheadedness. And is there anything to be grateful for? Not really. I mean, I was grateful for the fact that that procedure was expensive and I have health care that, covered a good chunk of it. What I obviously didn't like was the fact that I don't think it worked. And so then I had to wear like this heart monitor for a couple of more weeks. I still haven't received the results from that heart monitor to see if there's any new indication as to why I'm continuing to, experience this. But the last couple of days, I've really felt like crap. I mean, really bad. And, I need to be at the top of my game, or at the top of my game as I can be, because of this new challenge that we've been dealt. When someone says cancer, you never really wonder how you're going to react. And you think that you can kind of prepare if someone says you have this. And what happens generally is the preparation is never really enough. And, for Donna, this has been, a pretty rough road when she was diagnosed several weeks ago with breast cancer. And so, this just added on like like a cake with all these layers. It just keeps going on and on and on, and it never really tastes any good. And that's kind of what we're dealing with. And we kind of knew that something was going on because, her regular mammogram spit out some results that her regular doctor didn't really like. And so some further testing kind of told us that, could possibly be in the realm of that. And that's pretty much how it turned out. So we have sort of been trying to prepare ourselves for, this new leg of the journey. And so we have our surgery on Monday, 2 days from now. So I have been trying to prepare her for that as best I know how to do, at the same time trying to, minimize talking at length about it. And when I do talk about it, trying to find positive things about it. And Donna wrote up on the whiteboard, she erased everything that I have been writing all week, because I have not one but two of these kind of whiteboards, none of which she really looks at. And it's kind of a joke between us, which is like a to-do list or something to help me with, or maybe like a note of positivity, or, hearts, that she can look at. And So she erased everything off the whiteboard and she wrote on the whiteboard positive. And she's been telling herself to think positive, and there are positives. I mean, she's at stage 1B, which would designate to me, and I think it designates to her surgeon, that there was early detection, fairly early detection, and B, that there, as of yet, has not been a spread into nodes. So she's going to take a couple of those nodes, and if those nodes are clean, then that will also mean that the possibilities are strong that she will not have to have chemotherapy, but she will have to have radiation. So to me, these are positive things. So I think I've gotten inside her head to at least look at this with some sense of positivity, because it's really hard to be positive naturally when somebody tells you that you have cancer. So while I was driving back from Kentucky, I was asking myself this question: how strong are you? How strong do you need to be? What is the threshold for making sure that you are strong enough to handle everything that you have to face just yourself, and then strong enough to help somebody else face the thing that they are dealing with, or the things that they are dealing with? And I don't know that I really have the answer to that, because I feel like there is a point lately where I feel a little stretched beyond, what I've normally have been feeling. And because it's generally my MO to kind of slough off the need to pay attention to kind of like what I'm going through and how are you feeling, because people text me that, how are you feeling? And I sometimes don't even respond, because it seems like it's so far down the pyramid. And, I read one of these calendar notes, like somebody gave me a calendar for 2023, and every day it has like a saying or whatever. And, one of those sayings, had to do with making sure that, you can't be well for someone else if you're not well yourself. And that kind of hit me on the drive, that I feel like this line that God never gives you anything more than you, I think it's kind of all BS. But if that's not the case, then it's up to me to, but if that's the case, then it's up to me to figure out, the route to go to keep me healthy. And I guess I have gratitude for this little calendar thing, because I don't know, sometimes when you are looking at something straight on, it may not be in focus. It's like being out with my camera this morning. I was walking through the neighborhood and I just kind of locked on to the way this light was shining through the trees onto this lawn. And I was taking the photo, but it wasn't clear to me until I hit the right button. And then all of a sudden, boom, wow, my eyes, you could feel like them getting as big as basketballs. Wow, that's okay. So I didn't have something activated there. And I feel kind of the same way. And it's just becoming more apparent to me lately that there is a need to find a space to gauge your own health and to not feel guilty about it. Because if you are in the same situation and you have caregiving responsibilities, I do think it's critical to figure out where your needs lie in the whole spectrum. Now, I don't have an answer for that. I'm still trying to get used to that. But my gratitude level is high in such a way that I do acknowledge that this is part of the scheme and that I matter in this scheme. I was telling Tommy, my supervisor, who's been very, very cool during this whole process and who I think has been, in his own way, has been going out of his way to inquire about how things are going and has been and will be amenable to, some schedule challenges as the radiation thing gets going and how that's all going to come to be. And I've been very grateful for the fact that, I think he's a very good listener. I think that when you're talking, and it's something that I've tried to do and pattern myself after, when I'm talking, he gives me attention and he doesn't say anything while I'm talking. And he kind of lets me talk and then gives his review or gives his summary and understanding of what I've just said. So from that standpoint, I've been very grateful for that. And, I think you do need this sort of cadre of people who check in from time to time. And while they may not solve anything for you, and while you may not expect them to solve things for you, the thing that I'm grateful for is that small amount of people who kind of check in and kind of just let you know, that they're out there. And it's hopefully helped me to be better in that regard too, that I think everybody just needs to be checked in on from time to time. Not that you have a solution or not that they even expect you to have a solution, but those things can't be overvalued, I think. And if you are not a recipient of that, I would probably urge you, as I urge myself, to be better at it, to adopt this mind frame that you're going to reach out and, I guess for want of a better word, touch these people that are close to you to let them know that, yeah, we all have our own lives and we get busy and it's crowded and, yada, yada, yada. But I think it's very necessary. And so from these instances where, he and I have been able to share a couple of things, I'm very, very grateful for that. So that's what's going on. I mean, I feel like, are things too much to handle? Have they been given to me? Are they too much for me to bear? And, how many more things can happen? And I just don't even know if there's any time for that. And I'm acknowledging that only I can be the judge as to whether they are too much. And if they become too much, then, it's up to me to find the outlets to help release the pressure valve so that, things can go on, because I need to be, this person who is strong enough sometimes to handle things for both people. That's the role of a caregiver, and it's tough. It's very tough sometimes. And so, fire up good vibrations, if you would. I mean, we have quite the journey on tap. It's going to be kind of a long one. And even though there are positive things, it's hard to say, what will happen down the road. So I hope to kind of update you a little more regularly, because I enjoy being in front of this microphone. It's just finding the time throughout to be able to do it. So here's hoping that you had a great summer and that you are cancer-free and that you don't have to deal with these kinds of things. And it's my hope, as I said to Donna, you're going to be a cancer survivor. You're going to kick its ass. And, we've had a lot of positive people who have shared their own personal breast cancer journeys and they're in her corner, and, enough people and enough positivity that kind of, coagulates, I think can be nothing but a good thing. So, here's hoping that things are good in your world, and thanks for tuning in and being patient with me on this, the Gratitude Journal podcast.